Hey, I'm Hazel, and this was another year down the drain for me. Sure, I did have some accomplishments, and I didn't have too much to complain about. No major bad things happened to me, but I also did not reach the biggest goals of the year. And that's starting to be a recurring issue for me. Instead of keeping on top of it, I start slacking off, forgetting what I'm working towards, and just getting overwhelmed with everything that I want to do. But not this year. This year, I'm determined to keep everything together and make my biggest dreams become reality. And today, I will start that journey together with you. Let me show you how. Now, why should you take advice from someone that just admitted that in her 30 years of life, not a single year was spent successfully? Well, am I not then the expert on doing things wrong? Sure. Let's go with that. My goals for this year are basically the same as they have been every year for the last few years. I want to work hard to become fit, to be more successful in my career, to be altogether myself the entire year. And, I also have saving goals and financial goals, book reading goals, all of the goals. And every year is the same. I dive in headfirst in January, doing everything I want to do, going all the way in, big time, work, 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 only to crash out halfway through February. I get overwhelmed, I get burnt out by everything I'm doing, and I decide, let's just take it easy in March, and after that, I'm going to pick everything back up again. But I do not, after that, pick everything back up again because I forget what I'm doing and where I'm supposed to be going with my life. So around May, I start feeling like I should probably be doing something, but I don't know where to start. I don't know how to begin. I don't know where I was when I crashed out. So I just kind of ignore everything because it's summer and I want to do all the stuff in summer, go on vacation, have a good time with friends, summer. And then after summer, September comes in, and September is always a time of year where I feel the same as in January, that I want to do everything and get all my goals done. So in September, I decide I'm going to go back in. But once I see what kind of mess I've made from the last time I was doing everything, I just get overwhelmed right away again. And September is already a busy time, so I just don't do much more than look into it and then feel like, no, let's not do it right now. Then October is the month where I'm just cozily in my pajamas on my couch under a blanket, try to ignore all my responsibilities, and then November hits and I feel like it's too late now to start anything. So let's just wait for New Year to do everything again. And that's basically how every year is going. And sure, December is a time where I have some extra time on my hands because usually I just take the days between Christmas and New Year's off. So I have some time to reconvene and restructure my life. And so I did that as well this year. But I changed a lot of things in my life, but also in the way I'm going to look at these goals and how I'm going to actually get to where I want to go and how I'm going to keep myself accountable but still be able to keep this up. So this year is not going to be one of those years that I'm not going to get to my goals. This year will be different. It will be. I am sure of it. And I will share with you how you can make your year different as well. So sit down and listen up, because maybe these tips will help you too. Maybe you can implement some of the things that I'm implementing that will help you too. First up, step one, we need to set the goals. We need to know what we're working towards. And I really like to make a vision board at the beginning of the year because, every time that in December, when I have a moment that I feel like scrolling on my phone, I just get Pinterest and look for pictures that are related to the goals that I have for the next year. I also have like bullet points in my notes app of the goals that I want to achieve for the year. And just I gather a lot of pictures from Pinterest that I can use to make a vision board. And I like to print them twice, once in big and once smaller, so I can use them to make a vision board that I hang above my computer. And I also have small ones that I can paste in a journal. Now, while making a vision board, you're already very attentionally and with a lot of attention working on your goals. You're meticulously cutting out all the pictures, you're placing them in the right spot on the vision board, and You're just putting so much attention to it that your brain thinks, okay, this is something I should be paying attention to. This is important to me. That's one thing. The other thing that you're doing by making a vision board is you're already starting on your goals. And starting something is already the hardest thing. As soon as you've started something, your brain wants to finish it. But big things are hard to start. You kind of procrastinate. But by doing an easy thing like making a vision board, you're already starting your goals. And that way, the actual starting of your goals isn't as daunting as it might be if you did not spend so much time on your vision board. And then you're going to hang your vision board in a place where you see it every day. For me, I hang it above my computer screen in my office nook / dressing room, where I am every day because I have to get dressed every day, so that I see it and it triggers my brain to think, oh yeah, we were working on something. We should probably get back to that. Now, let me show you my vision board for this year. I've got little areas of goals on my vision board. Like, I want to become a YouTube partner, so that's here together with the office setup. I want to be more spiritual. I want to work on myself, like pianoing. I got some quotes. There's some sporting stuff, pictures of places I want to travel to. A lot can happen in a year. Main character energy. It's all fun and games. Trust your intuition. It's better to be cringe in someone else's mind than be caged in your own. And just have the vibe you want to have for the year. So that's basically, I just cut everything out and I rearrange it on this paper and then paste everything down. It's easy, but it takes a while and you're very intentionally doing it. And like I said, it's a reminder every day as well. So highly recommend making a vision board and in that way thinking about all the goals that you want to achieve in the year. So number 2, make a journal, a planner, make a plan. Now, the pictures that you have in your vision board and the goals that are associated with them are probably really big and broad statement goals, like I want to save money, I want to be a YouTube partner, I want to be sporty this year and be fit, travel, stuff like that. It's broad. There's what am I going to do? I don't know. It's very broad. So it's very important that you also make the goals smaller. Cut them up in pieces, little chunks that you can, have something small that you can do in a day, or maybe that you can do in an hour, maybe over the time span of a week you can do these things just to get closer to the end goal. And if you cut your goals up in tiny pieces, it is more manageable and less daunting to be working on them. And I use a journal to get my broad, huge dreams and order them in a way that it is manageable and palatable for me. So the way that I'm going to do it this year, and I think it's really going to help, is I got this beautiful journal from Archer and Olive with a linen type of, well, anyway, it's a beautiful journal. And I cut my goals up into 6 categories. Career, you can do your own categories, of course. Spirituality, self-care, finance, home, and travel. And as you can see, for all the categories, I pasted down some of the pictures from my vision board into the journal. So I have the vision, and then I write down what I want to accomplish this year, the entire goal for the entire year. And then I haven't written it down yet, but I then have 12 double pages behind every category. So this would be January, February, where I write down what can I do this month to get to where I want to be this year. I write that down. I also like to draw a tarot card or two to see what they tell me that I should be thinking about, or things that I should keep in mind, or what the future may hold for me. Anyway, I do that, and then I also write down for each week what I can do that week. And I do that for all 6 categories, and I will do that every month. And at the end of the month, then see how far I've come, what I've accomplished, what I can change for the next month, or what I can do better for the next month, or what I'm taking with me to the next month, things like that. So every month, at around the end of the month or the beginning of the month, I will have a time for myself to reflect and fantasize about what I will do the next month. Doing this monthly is going to make it so that it's not too much. If I have to do this like every Sunday, it would be too much and I probably just wouldn't do it anymore. But it's still in such tiny time pieces that it's still easy to oversee the bigger picture. So that's what I do. And then I also have a normal agenda, journal, diary, just a diary, which is already filled in. It's just a diary agenda where I will then take the things that I've written down in here that I want to do that month and plan them on the days that I have time, the days that I can do them. And that way it's just tiny chunks and very manageable and very easy to keep going with it. And I can always go back and see what was my goal and am I going the right direction. So that's something that I really recommend doing for you as well, just to get the big picture and make it easy, manageable, and fun as well, because it is kind of fun to work with this. Number 3. Now you have a plan, but you have to be able to keep up with it. And this is basically about prioritizing. You set these goals for a reason. You want to achieve them, so you will have to allocate some time to work on them. And for me, I like to look back at last year and see where am I spending my time and why have I not been able to spend my time on achieving these goals. And what I saw was, first of all, I spent a lot of time, but also a lot of emotional energy on my job. And this is something that's not easily changed. But in my case, I managed to get a kind of a promotion within my organization. I'm going to do a different job that just is less emotionally draining. I can plan my own agenda and also I have less of a commute. So I will be spending less time and less draining emotional energy on that job. So I have more space for the goals that I want to achieve. Second, I was doing my master's degree last year, which I got my diploma, so that time has opened up for me as well. And then third, I do have a huge screen time, and this is something that I can really change. And it's important for me to change it as well. I would like to be spending more time on achieving my goals than I am scrolling TikTok. So in theory, all this time opened up for me, but that doesn't mean that I'm spending that time working on my goals. And I really recommend just allocating a time in your agenda every week. For me, it's going to be Fridays the entire day because I work part-time. I have Fridays off. I'm just going to use Friday to work on myself, for myself. You can also just block time out of your agenda on weekend days, maybe after work, maybe before work, whenever you have time. Block it out of your agenda to work on yourself and work for yourself. If this is really something you really want, you're just going to have to spend some time on it. Like I said, it's really about prioritizing, and having the allocated time already there makes it easier for you to say, okay, right now I'm going to work on this, instead of trying to find the time. Because you already have the time, you just need to show up for yourself at that time. Okay, now that we have the vision, the plan, the time, the fourth thing that we're going to have to do is make habits. Because once something is a habit, it's easy for you to just do it and you're not going to have to fight yourself to get there. So how do we actually make habits? Well, for example, one of my goals is that I want to run half a marathon this year. Around October time, I want to be ready to run a half a marathon. And that means that I'm going to have to run 3 times a week. And at some point, I'm also going to have to work out. So to make a habit, we need a trigger. And the trigger is the thing that's going to click in your brain and say, oh, we're doing this now. So for me and for that goal, that can be that the days that I'm going to run, which is Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays. Tuesdays and Thursdays, I'm going to come home from work and I'm not going to sit down on the couch. I'm going to go right away upstairs and change into my running gear. And that is going to trigger the response of, okay, we're going to go for a run now. And on Saturdays, I'm going to just, instead of getting dressed for the day, I'm going to get dressed in my running gear first, go for a run, and then I can shower and get dressed for the rest of the day. So the putting on of the running gear is going to be the trigger for me to start the habit. And once the putting on the running gear and then running has happened a few times, my brain is going to associate them with each other, and also it's going to be easier to just do that every time that the time has arisen for me to do that habit. That's a very easy one you can do. Another one that I'm going to implement is in the mornings. Instead of in the mornings, I always wake up, I make tea, and while the tea is brewing, I brush my teeth, get dressed, go down, and I'm going to sit on the couch and watch TV. I'm going to change that. I'm going to do the making the tea, getting dressed, brushing my teeth. I'm going to go down, grab my tea, and go back upstairs to my office slash dressing room. And I'm going to sit down at my desk and have my tea with my journals, my diaries, and just see what I can do that day to further my goals, see how I feel, see what I have to do that day. And that way, it's going to be the trigger is going to be making the tea and going upstairs, and the habit is going to be the planning, which is half the work of accomplish your goals. So think about the goals that you want to achieve and think about the tiny steps that you do to start whatever it is that is going to be you working on that goal, and think about what you can do every time to trigger your brain into thinking, oh, we're doing this now and we're putting time apart to work on this goal. And you will see that things are going to come easier to you after a certain amount of time. So at that point, we did these 4 things, and now it's just a matter of keeping up with it, which is maybe actually the hardest part. So how can we make sure that we actually will keep up with this? Well, bring in number 5, implementation intentions. What I want you to do, and what I'm going to do, is think of everything that could go wrong and everything that could hold you back from doing what you want to be doing and accomplishing your goals. Think of everything that could go wrong. And then, once you have set the entire disaster for yourself, you have imagined everything down the drain, this is when you think of the ways that you would turn that disaster around and what you will do to make sure that these things that happen and these things that hold you back are being taken care of. And you can think about the past, like what has held you back before, and then think of a way that you can now change that you can overcome that. So for example, for me, something that has held me back from saving money is spending money, of course. I like to buy new clothes, books, hobbies. I spend so much money on those things, and because I'm spending it, I cannot save it. So this year, whenever that is threatening to happen again, I'm going to close the site, block the site maybe even, and I'm also promising myself that I'm not buying anything online, nothing online, nothing I'm going to buy with Afterpay or Klarna. And if I want something, I can just go to the store and get it. And if it's not there, too bad. I am in a position that I really don't need anything. I have lots of books that I haven't read yet. I have lots of clothes that I can wear. I don't need anything. There are still hobby things that I can use. I have games, I have cross stitch, I have enough. I don't need to buy anything. So, like I said, if I want something, I can just go to the store and get it. And if it's too much work to go to the store, I clearly don't need it. Most of the things that I would like to have honestly aren't available in a store near me. So I think this promise to myself is going to really help me not spend as much money. So yeah, think about the things that could go wrong, think about the things that you have encountered before, and think of the way you can overcome that. So after all of that, I think 2026 is going to be our best year yet. We're going to have a great time. And don't get discouraged because it's already January. It is very early in the year. You can still start all of this and be very successful by the time December hits. And be very successful by the time you're putting up your tree this year. And also, please remember and look back at your previous year and see all the steps that you've already made. See all the accomplishments you have already achieved. We like to look back at ourselves and be very negative, only see the negative things and enlarge all the negative parts of ourselves. But it's very important to also see that you are amazing as well and you can really achieve whatever you want to achieve, and you have already proven that by achieving the things that you have already achieved. And I said achieved a lot, but just remembering that will also give you the courage and the confidence to believe in yourself. And so yeah, that's the last thing I want you to do. Write down everything that you have actually accomplished last year and give yourself some grace. So I hope to see you in your best form, and I will see you in the next one. Thank you for watching. Subscribe if you want to see more from me, by the way, and comment down below what are your goals for the year. See you later. Bye.